Hello, welcome to day one of our Greenstyle Creation Lumia Zip-Up Hoodie sew along. I am really excited for this one. We had a request for this sew along a few months back, and at first when I saw the request, I was kind of like, I don't know about this. But then after looking at the pattern, I just fell in love. And I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's give this a try. So I'm really excited to be sewing this up. It has a zipper in it, and I know that that can be intimidating, but we're going to do this together every step of the way. If I can do this, you can do this. Trust me. So, of course, I'll be doing every step in videos and breaking it all down. And then if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and I will try and help walk you through it as much as I can. Zippers aren't as scary as they seem, I promise. I know, I don't know why we always get in our heads about zippers, but this is going to be easy. We can do this. Okay. So today is kind of a busy day because there's so many parts to this hoodie, and I want to make sure we're breaking it up into some like equal parts so that it doesn't get super overwhelming. So today we're actually going to be prepping and printing our pattern as well as cutting out, picking and cutting out our fabric. So a couple of notes about the pattern. I'm just going to do kind of what we usually go through with printing. So when you go to print your pattern, this is just the instructions, but you're going to click print here on the side. You're going to print the first page of your, here we go, see if you can see this. All right, so you're just going to print the first page. This is a projector file, so all of my files are up. So you're just going to print the first page, though, of your actual pattern. And the biggest thing that I want to talk to about this is that you want to print the first page, and you want to make sure that actual size is selected, and then print that first page, and there will be a test box on that page. You want to check that box and make sure that it's measuring the correct size before you print out the rest of your pattern, because if you don't and you print out all those pages and it's even just a 1/4 inch off, your whole garment is going to be thrown off. So definitely make sure that actual size is selected and that you test that first page before you do anything else, before you print out the rest of it. The next bit that I want to talk about is layers. So when you first see a pattern, you have all these different lines in it, and it can be kind of overwhelming when you're looking at it and trying to cut something to see 10, 12 different colors lines on there, trying to keep track of which one you're going after and whatnot. So I really like this pattern. Has layers in it. So it's got a regular letter paper size file. It's got an AO, it's got an A4, and it's got a projector file. So it's got all your files rolled up in one pattern, all the different kinds. And I really love that and appreciate that. And I'll get more into the projector file here in just a second. But first I want to talk about layers. So if you come over to the left-hand side of your screen here, you'll see a couple of different options or icons, I guess. You'll want to click on this one that looks like a bunch of papers stacked on top of each other. And then what you're going to see is now these are all the different sizes of the pattern, and you are just going to go through and unselect every size that you're not going to use. If you're doing a paper pattern, sometimes if I know that I'm going to be sewing this pattern up a lot, or I know that I'm going to be making it in a bunch of different sizes, what I will actually do is print out the whole pattern with every size selected, and then trace the size that I need for each sew. That way I have like a master copy, and I'm not printing out a ton of paper. So that's the paper, if you're printing. And then you're going to want to, there are no trim pages. So all you're going to want to do is make sure those lines line up, and then you're good to go. Just tape or glue. I like to glue and then put tape on the seams that are especially going to have a lot of movement to them. With the projector file, I really like it because if you look here, you can see this piece is folded out for me. So this is a piece that you typically would cut on the fold, but it's opened up. So instead of having to fold my fabric now, I can just lay my fabric face up or face down, just out flat, and cut it that way. It's really, really great if you're doing a pattern, you know, if you have pattern pieces, or if you're doing a panel or anything like that. This, having it unfolded like this, is really fabulous. It's a great, great option to have. And then with your projector, again, always make sure you're checking that your projection rate is correct. Before every pattern I do, I always make sure to check that. And there is the button somewhere here. Let's see. Okay, I have this all flipped over because I already printed out, or I already cut out my fabric because I wanted to show you guys all the pieces, but show you all, sorry. So this square, this 1-inch test square, you just want to test that before you cut every single time. Take my advice on that. If you don't, you're going to regret it because of even just a slight change. If Adobe upgraded, if your computer made a little update, any little change can throw that percentage rate, that cast rate off. I actually just had to change mine a couple of days ago because I looked at it and I'm like, this looks off, and sure enough, it was. So I had to play around with that. So definitely make sure you check that every time. The next thing I want to talk about with this pattern is you have to measure yourself. It's always a good idea to measure yourself every single time before you make a garment, whether it's a garment you've made before or a different garment, because you never know day to day, you know, how things can change. Your body can change and fluctuate. So it's always good to measure yourself every time before you sew something up for yourself, just to be sure you're getting the right sizes there. So the next part I want to talk about, now that we've got the patterns done, we need to start thinking about our fabrics. So a couple of things you are going to need special for this. You're going to need a separating zipper. And all that means is that your zipper can go all the way down and separate so that it can open completely up on your garment. So that's a separating zipper. It's not too different than a regular zipper, other than, of course, this bottom is open, but sewing it up is going to be pretty similar. We just need to really make sure that our measurements are on so that it's not slightly off, or it'll throw the whole garment off. That's the biggest thing with zippers, is you just need to make sure your measurements are right, which is the same with buttons, but buttons are a whole different can of worms. I'm not a fan of buttons. But you'll need a separating zipper. You'll need a small amount of interfacing. You will need a piece that's big enough, and that's the same size as your separating zipper, the same length. So keep that in mind. And then you'll need some twill tape or ribbon, just I think 1 or 1.5 inch. Basically, it's just going to cover the seam for the zipper so that when it's open, the zipper teeth aren't catching on your skin, you know. That's never any fun. So those are kind of the special things that you'll need, the additional things that you'll need other than fabric for this pattern. The next thing I do want to talk about too is there are a bunch of different ways that you can do this pattern. You can add piping, you could do color blocking, you can do, I mean, it's crazy how many different ways and you can style this. So I really recommend, on the pattern page, you'll see a line drawing. I really recommend grabbing and printing off the line drawing and just kind of drawing out an idea of what your vision is. It'll help you know what pieces you need to cut in what color, and just keep an idea of what you need to do and how you need to do it. The other thing that I did is I wrote down on the side of my paper here each piece that needed to be cut out so that I could check them off while I did them, because there are quite a few pieces here. So after you've got this printed out, go through and find what fabrics you want to use. You can use any amount of fabrics as you want. You know, that's the great thing. There's so many different parts to this. I'm going to be using 2 fabrics. So the main part of my sweater will be one color, and I'm going to be doing piping and a hood. And then my bands are going to be a separate color. So, and I'm actually going to be doing the thumb hole cuffs too, because I was like, you know what, let's just do it all in a project like this. Let's push it to the limits and see what all we can get done. So I'm actually using some super cute buffalo plaid. I'm really excited about this. And then I'm going to be using black French Terry. So this is buffalo plaid, it's French Terry, and then my black is French Terry as well for bands and my piping. Ooh, hey there, and my cuffs and whatnot. So I'm really, really excited about that. Just to go over the pieces that you're going to need, you will need a back piece. You're going to need a back yoke piece. Sorry, I've got like a million pieces everywhere. All right. So you'll need a back piece, a back yoke piece. You're going to need a front hood. Here we go. You're going to need a front center piece. You'll need 2 of these, and you're going to actually cut the mirror image. What I like to do when I cut fabric mirror is I just like to fold it over and just make sure I'm not cutting on the fold, and that'll give me a nice mirror image without having to remember, did I flip the fabric? Do I flip the pattern? So you'll need 2 front centers mirror image. You'll need 2 side fronts mirror image. You're going to need 2 mirror image sleeves. And then if you're doing, I'm not doing the color block hood, I'm just doing a regular hood. So you'll need 2 mirror image of your outside fabric for your hood. And then you'll also need 2 mirror image for your lining fabric for your hood. So I'm lining with a different color, but you don't have to. You can line with the same main fabric or however you want to do. Make sure when you are cutting out that you mark where the rivets or the grommets, sorry, for your hoodie are going to go on your hood. And then 2, if you're going to do the pockets, make sure on your side or your front center pieces that you mark where those pocket pieces go. So those are important to know. Speaking of pockets, you'll need to cut out 2 pockets. Here's my pockets here. These again are going to be mirror image. So you'll need your pockets. You'll need a hemband. You will need, I am doing piping, so I've got piping pieces. Okay, yeah. So I'm doing piping, so I've got piping pieces. I'm also making a drawstring, so I cut out a big piece for my drawstring. And then you need cuffs. So if you're going to be doing the thumb hole cuffs with me, you'll need the sleeve cuff. So this will be the part that goes around the sleeve. You'll need an upper and a lower thumb hole cuff as well. And that will kind of form, I like this type of cuff. I've tried a couple of different thumb hole cuffs. This is probably my favorite style because it doesn't create a hole. It kind of creates a flap that your thumb goes into. So there's, even when you're not wearing it, it closes up so air doesn't get in. I really like this style. So that is what you need for cutting your fabric. And then that's it for today. So we're just going to be prepping our patterns, cutting our fabric. Tomorrow, we are going to be making drawstring, putting piping on and putting grommets in so that everything is prepped and ready to go. We might add the pocket pieces in too, but just so, like I said, everything's prepped, ready to go so that we can start really constructing the garment. On day 3, we're going to do the front construction. In the instructions, it's a little reversed. They have you construct the back first and then the front. For time's sake and for adding things in, if we did the back first, we'd have like such a quick, easy third day, and our fourth day would be crazy. So we're going to do the front construction first, and then we'll do the back construction, add the hoods, add the sleeves. So basically we'll have, by the fourth day, our whole hoodie will be done. And then on the fifth day, we'll add the zipper, the bands, and the cuffs. So all things said, hopefully that should go pretty easy and not be too crazy throughout the week. And then by Friday, we'll have a new zip-up hoodie. I'm really excited. We can do this. I know you can do this. We got this. So let's get going on our Lumia hoodie, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.